Here we are in your brand new office in the training ground. Worth stressing, we're not fully moved in yet, but we've got permission to be in here for this. How's it feel in your swanky new office?
It's a bit echoey at the minute. Just got a desk, a couple of chairs, and a TV in the wall. But yeah, it's great to see everything coming to fruition, and the training ground, looks amazing. It's going to be such a good facility for the club. For the players to really take their performance to the next level with the gym, with the canteen. So it's a huge step for the football club, a huge statement, and we're looking forward to getting in and using the facilities to help us improve.
I mean, you've answered my next question. I was going to say, this does feel like the start of almost the next chapter of Exeter City, doesn't it?
Yeah, without a doubt, and there's things we want to try and do behind that. For the players in terms of performance and what we expect of the players. We want to go up a level, not just in terms of the facilities and the structure, but in terms of how we prepare, what the players eat, what they drink, how they recover, how they sleep. So we're really looking to improve in all aspects of the club, and this is the beginning of that.
On the pitch matters. We've spoken about, performances have been there recently. What more do you think we need to do to sort of turn that dominance in matches into wins?
Score a goal. It's the hardest part of football. We are dominating games. We're in control of games, which really pleases me. We have to be better in the final third. We have to understand how we're going to score goals from possession football. I think we're very good in the counter-attack. I think we have to get that understanding of when we keep the ball and we get in certain areas, there has to be a change of speed, there has to be a penetrating run, there has to be more bodies attacking the box, and we are working hard to improve that. But in terms of how the players have performed, their mentality, I've been delighted with them. I think we also have a new group, and that takes time. Certain players are playing their debuts and getting understanding of working with different players and how we work on a daily basis. So that takes a little bit of time, but I've been really happy with how we've performed. But once it all comes together, I see a real group of players that can go on a consistent run in this league and win a lot of football matches.
In the last couple of matches, you've changed the formation slightly and you've put players in different positions. By doing that, are you finding out more about your players?
Yeah, I think we find out different things about players every day. I think they, learn different things about us as well as a staff. In terms of the different positions, I think when we are picking players, we're picking the profile of the player. So to give you an insight in that, like Harry Kite is someone with great energy, a great competitor for the team. So when you're picking a team, you want people like that in the team, and then you try and look at his attributes as a footballer, and we felt like coming in off the side and having the game in front of him would suit him better. And we could also then bring Kev and Rax and Arch and different players into midfield. And I think Harry has been superb in both games, and in a position that he played a lot in the academy, but one that he hasn't played recently. So I don't really see positions as set for each player. It's more the profile of the player, what the player strengths are and how that applies to that position. And I think all players have that ability to move and adapt. Josh Key's another one that we've used in different positions in different games because of his speed and where it could hurt the opposition. So when we're picking the team, we think of all sorts of things, and also the dynamic of the team and the connections within the team. So recently Harry's been someone that's played in different positions, but it could happen to other players as well, because I don't just see a footballer, I see different abilities within that footballer that can help the team win a game of football.
Obviously Jamal missed out on Tuesday again with that injury, and Czech Diabate, we lost him on Saturday at Burton. Can you provide an update on both those players?
Yeah, Jamal had an injection and took some fluid out his hip on Tuesday morning. That's why we felt, we put him on the bench on Saturday purely as a precaution and an emergency, but he wasn't fit to play. And then on Tuesday he had that injection, and we felt there was no real point to putting him on the bench because he would have been unable to come on and help the team if needed. But now he's hopefully training today, light training today, and will be available for Saturday but not fully fit, and hopefully next week he gets fully over that injury and can compete with Gary for that goalkeeping position. Czech has more disappointing news that he's going to be out for at least 6 weeks with another fracture in his foot, which is a big disappointment to all of us because of his form recently. I think he had kind of got over that injury and started to show the form that we had seen early season. So that is a huge blow for him and for everyone at the club.
Obviously, we're unable to recall Harry. Andrew Souden's unavailable, so obviously that was the position that we were left in with no keeper on the bench on Tuesday.
Yeah, we weren't trying to be brave or try and pull one. We were, our hands were tied with everything. Harry Lee's doing absolutely amazing on loan, so we felt like bringing him back for one game would be against his development and what he's doing at the moment. Andy is currently on a concussion protocol, so we felt like we could gamble for the one game, and we got away with it.
On to Saturday then, Port Vale. It's where your first win as manager came back in that FA Cup game in November. I mean, it was quite an ending to that one.
Yeah, it was one of several crazy games at that moment where, you know, we could have lost, we could have won, but we came out on top that day, and we'll be in for another difficult game. We know they're not on a great run, but they are desperate for points, and they will fight and compete, and we will have to be ready to match and go above that if we want to go and get another victory there. They have a big squad. They have a lot of options, so they can chop and change their personnel, but they're pretty set on how they play. The structure of the team is pretty set from what it was when we played in the FA Cup, and it's not really changed in that time. We will look in more detail today and tomorrow at their recent games and any small changes that they've made, but we're pretty prepared, and we know what we're going to come up against, and it's important that we recover and get ready to go and perform and try and get a win.
Something the previous manager always used to refer to when we played away at Port Vale was the size of the pitch. It is huge at Vale Park, isn't it?
It's huge and it's not very good, so again it's another challenge, and I think that's the luxury we have at home. We're playing on a fantastic pitch at SJP. You know, we can really get the ball down and play, but Saturday will be a different game because of the pitch dimensions for one, but also the quality of the pitch, so we have to be prepared for that.
And finally, a couple more additions to your backroom team. Michael McBride, physio, has joined us, and we've also got a new match analyst, Lauren Jones, joining us from Southampton until the end of the season. So obviously two fantastic additions to join you.
Yeah, brilliant. Michael is someone I've known for a long time. He was my physio when I was a player at Scotland. I've took him to Wigan and Chesterfield. I didn't have enough money for him to get him up to Partick Thistle, but that's another story. But he's been he's not been in, but I've known he's been coming for a long time, so he's worked with Sam, he spoke to Sam, and obviously I've known him for a long time, so I know exactly what he's going to bring. He's a fantastic character, a brilliant physio, and somebody that I think will just drive the standards in the medical department and bring everything on again, which is great, so I'm delighted to have him in. Lauren is somebody that Marcus had identified we could bring in on loan to help us with the analysis side, and she's only been in a few days but has shown already, you know, what quality she's going to bring. And this is, you know, what we have to do as a football club is always evolve and look to be better, not just on the pitch but in all aspects of the football club.
And actually, we seem to be forming quite a nice link with Southampton now. Obviously, we brought in Kegs on loan, and obviously now for development, and of course they're doing the same with members of the staff as well. Yeah,
I think it's a great idea. I spoke to Phil last night, their loans manager, about Kegs, and he's delighted with how Kegs' loans going and how we're communicating with them. So I think it's important as a club we do that when we get people on loan from Premier League teams. We look after them, and they know how good we are and how we can help with, you know, their younger players or staff development when they come here. So I think it's a great link that we have.